Hello and welcome to the second video in this production line assignment course. So in the last video, I went over the process of importing this data, KPI targets, production data, and user roles into Power BI, and I told you that we're trying to build this here to as part of part one because we're going to build on this. Okay, so we already got our data. We just need to create these cards, the slices and these visuals to complete part one. So, like I said, the instructions are all there. I'm giving you the formula, so you don't need to be guessing which formula to use to calculate the defect rate. So, uh, I'm going to go ahead and add some cards because we need to add the cards and then add these formulas to the card. Okay, so let me get back here to Power BI. And I'm going to add two cards, one for total output and one for defect rate. And so in order to do that, I'll just come here to the card visual. I'll use the basic card here. And I click on this card. It adds it here. I'm just going to move it, resize it to look more like the way I want it. And then actually, I need to create some calculated columns. So maybe let me do that here. And so to create these calculated columns, in the production data table, we want to create defect rate, and the formula is defect rate equal this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this formula and come here to this, and this is a production data table. I'm going to right click on it. I need a new column. Okay, I could create a measure as well, but the instructions say create a column, so we'll just create a column for now. Obviously, the difference between a measure and a column is that the column is permanently part of the table, and the measure gets created at the time it's executed. So I'm just going to create a column since the instructions said that. And so it's going to open here for me to create the formula for the column. So okay, so it says column equal, I'm just going to delete that, Control V, and defect rate equal production. We're going to divide production defective units by production data output quantity and multiply by 100. That's the defect rate. So defective units divided by total quantity is the defect rate. And so I hit enter, and this formula is going to be added to the production data. Now we have defect rate here. And so with the card selected, okay, with the card selected, I can add defect rate as a field on that card. And that's going to change what's displayed here. Okay, so you can see that now I have this as the defect rate. And actually, I think in the other visual, let me see. So I want the average, not the sum. So I got to go here, and I'm going to change this to aggregate by average. And now I have that. Okay, so I have the average defect rate. The other thing I need is the total output. So the formula said, the instructions say to create measures. This one is a measure for the total output. Okay, so the second one is a measure. And actually there are a few more measures. There's the first one that's the calculated column. So just to give you a practice creating a calculated column, this is a measure. So this one's going to be a measure on the same production output table. So I'm going to click here, right click this time, and I want a new measure. And I'm going to delete this and paste this formula here. So the total output is the sum of the output quantity in the production data table. Okay, so again, that measure total output has now been added. You can see it has a slightly different symbol from the calculator column. And so again, I'm going to add another card. So I can either add a new card, or if I want, I could duplicate this, like right click, copy, copy visual, and I can just Control V to paste that on top of this, and then I can drag it so that it's the same size. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, but I could also add this total output measure to this here and resize it to look like that. but I could also remove this and add this, and this will have the same size as that. So the two ways of creating it. I'm just gonna delete this, but because this I wanted to have the same size. Okay, so I've created those two, and then there are three more measures, I think. Okay, so total defective units is another measure. I'm going to create it. Copy, go here, and right click on the production data table, new measure. And just so we already have the formulas, but coming out of these formulas, sometimes you might not be entirely sure. So I'm just helping you by giving you the formulas. But in a real life situation, like in the tiered accountability system, you'll have to think about how to calculate total defects given your actual data set that you have in the factory. So again, total defects, and then it's added that as a measure, and then I think there are one or two more left. Average defect rate, total defects divided by total output. Because that one more measure, and then you have all our measures. So last measure, right click here, new measure, and control V, average defect rate. So I've added all the measures we need for this assignment, and I've created two cards. So in the next video, I'm going to add the slices and the remaining visuals and style it a little bit, and then we'll be ready to go to part two. Okay, so um, just give it a try, and I will see you in the next video.